Bringing all the nerve. RB leads the charge, the king of the show. Lick's got the hustle, always on the go. Petty D stirring, bringing the heat. Foley's new school, keeping it elite. Penguin stays chill, smooth with the flow. Freaks got the stats, every number you know. JD's the boss, walks, walk takes. PTD's the show that debates and shakes. One at the social where opinions collide. Hot takes, sharp minds, no place to hide. Questions, bold moves, every angle in play. PTD's the league's voice, your highlight of the day. It's PTD, breaking through the static. Pardon the disruption, bringing all the magic. It's PTD, breaking through the static. Pardon the disruption, bringing all the magic.
What's going on, everybody? This is your boy Lick. I'm here with Freak Weasel, special guest Weasel, and I have Andy and I Rockefeller on the show today. It is Friday afternoon leading into big weekend for real college football as well as the NDL, starting to get some heated matchups mid-season here, heading into block 4. How you doing today, Freak?
I'm doing good. I'm looking forward to the upcoming games. Just ready for this weekend, Labor Day weekend. Can't wait to just chill out and have it. Also, this intro with him is completely different than the speaker. I love that intro.
What about you, Rocco? What are you up to? You traveling to Hawaii this weekend, or what's your plan?
No, I'm done traveling till my honeymoon here in 3 weeks, thankfully. Actually, no, that's a lie. I have a trip right before the wedding, but for now, next couple of weeks, I'm here. So it'd be nice to not have to rush my games and kind of sit back and enjoy a long weekend because August was rough.
What about you, Andy? What do you got going on?
Nothing, just family picnics and whatnot for the holiday weekend.
Sounds exciting. What about you, Weasel, man? Glad to have you on the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a Northeast guy. Grew up in New York City. Born and raised right in Manhattan on 43rd Street and 10th Avenue. Times Square was like my backyard. So I was a teenager in the 90s. A lot of fun, adventures, wouldn't trade it for nothing. And now I'm living a suburban life out in New Jersey in Bergen County. I got family, wife and kids, chilling. Life is good.
That's awesome, man. How long you been in the NDL?
3 blocks.
What brought you to the NDL? Do you know somebody in here? What brought you?
No, I've been playing Madden for since whatever the first franchise mode came out, online franchise mode came out. What's that, like maybe 15 years ago? And I started a league of my own and met some guys, and over the years it's been running. And I think like what ends up happening with me, I guess, is you end up in your little bubble. I'm not a young guy anymore, so it's not like I know a lot of people. I don't have time to be in a lot of different leagues and things like that. And it's just like, I don't want to have to stress as much with with the responsibilities of running a league and finding new members, etc. So it's just like maybe try to find a new group. And then over the years here and there, what we've done with the main group of guys I play with is, guys will branch out to leagues and then try to like get the guys that all were champions of these leagues and then try to pull them into our thing to have like a highly competitive group. And that's kind of what I guess I found NDL just off of AI search with Grok. I said, show me the league that's the most I don't know what visible or something like that with media. I can't remember the prompt I put, but NDL came up. Saw you guys' stuff, read the stuff. I was like, man, this is actually kind of cool. And I have been in I was in like an online NHL hockey league that was kind of set up like this. You're your own player in the league, and then there's like drafts and things, and you get salary, and so it's kind of like felt like kind of like the same thing. Like, okay, they're representing every team. It's ran offline. I can totally get down with this. So that's how I found you guys.
Man, awesome. We're glad to have you in the league, kind of like a one-stop shop league with all the different dynasties that people branch off and do besides just the NDL itself, as well as pretty much every other game that's played. Someone in here plays it, whether it's a shooter game. Some people play some other different games and stuff like that. So really glad to have you a part of the league. We're kind of just going to jump right into this. We did something a little bit different this week. Freak sent out a link that just kind of asked the league, the NDL League, what would you like to hear on this episode of Pardon the Disruption here? And we're going to jump in the first topic here. I know it's been in the live chat here and there, and I know people privately talk about it. Disconnects have always been a part of the NDL. And it's a really unique situation to where most people just kind of agree on how it's going to be done, whether the game is just ends as is, they replay from the start, they recreate the situation. But obviously, as the game's evolved, with wear and tear, with injuries, with in-game things that go on, with momentum, with weather, with all the different things that can go on in the game. I'm going to ask you first, Freak, with disconnection, like a disconnect. I'm going to use an example. It occurred during the Missouri and Missouri State game. A lot of people were watching that game. Do you think, as an NDL member, well, they asked us, how should we deal with disconnects? And do you think that our current method is the proper one? Or is there a different way to handle disconnects as a league that is more uniformed? Freak.
Honestly, I'm not 100% sure. I think there's a better way to actually handle the disconnections. However, I think we have it right at the moment, but it's kind of hard to deal with momentum swings after disconnection, like that game. Recreating a game, are you gonna just score like 3 times and then just chew the clock until you get to the exact time that it disconnects? There's a lot of different options, but honestly, I'm all ears to seeing what we can do to make it better, if that's the case.
What about you guys? Do you guys have any suggestions or thoughts on disconnects and how they're handled?
Well, I think it's a thing that's unavoidable. And the funny thing about the disconnects is, like, I was in the chat and started trolling. It's like a big upset situation. I think it's best to just let let the two adults figure it out on their own, honestly, because it can be so many different scenarios, and it's impossible to recreate the exact situation with the wear and tear and the momentum and everything. And I kind of also think that it's whoever is in the lead or whoever has the momentum kind of is going to be the one that can kind of like set the whoever feels like they're the one that just got violated. You kind of are at their mercy for the reset. That's how we kind of handle it where I come from with this game. Because otherwise, it's so many people playing every week. How many games are there? 50, 60 games. The admins would be bothered with each time there's some kind of disconnect or something like that. I think it's always best to let the guy sort it out. If you don't want to play, your butt hurt because of whatever, just let the guys figure it out themselves.
About you, Andy or iRocky, you guys have any different suggestions?
I honestly kind of agree with what he said. That for the most part, I feel like people do just sort it out between the two of them, but it just sucks in general that it ever happened.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's not really a catch-all because obviously there's so many different nuances to the game now. And it depends on the nature of the game. Like in the case of the Missouri State Missouri game, what was it, 28-0 at the disconnect? In theory, you can't recreate that kind of momentum just by scoring 4 straight times in the first quarter and just kind of running it to the time that the disconnect originally happened. But on the flip side, if you've swung momentum and you're forging a comeback, you're down 21, and then the game disconnects when you've scored 2 straight times. How do you recreate that momentum? That might be something entirely different than someone that was just comfortably up 28 points. So I like just kind of like what Weasel said, hashing it out, scenario based. Um, if it's a tie game, just start it over, run it back. I don't know. I tend to just say do it over unless there's some crazy swing or momentum that happens when the game disconnects personally, but
And
it just depends on.
I agree with all you guys. I think you guys kind of hit it on the point that a lot of times us in the peanut gallery, I've mentioned that several times, being in the chat, is that it's easy to allow the peanut gallery to influence decisions that get made between the two coaches that they're directly involved, right? And so if they can drown out that noise and settle whatever they got going on, usually that's all that needs to happen. But the NDL is not a very forgiving environment, meaning that I think if you have an intentional disconnect, which is going to be really hard to prove nowadays, right? The EA servers are kind of turds this go around. But if you have an intentional disconnect in the NDL, eventually it's going to catch up to you because you're not going to be able to continue to do that in certain circumstances, right? If you have several different disconnects during competitive games where momentum swung or your key player is out, wear and tears really worn them down, that'll eventually catch up to you. I mean, with 130 owners, several of them are going to talk. It's going to get mentioned. I did make a suggestion to Homie about maybe potentially adding the disconnect to the coaching report, not to bring anything down per se, but it'll be a trackable thing, right? Is that if a game or a certain coach is getting disconnected a lot, maybe that's something that needs to be addressed because we would probably all agree there's nothing more frustrating for either party, even when you're losing, when the game disconnects. Because it's very hard to recreate moments. We saw that the other night in that Cincy Iowa State game. It's draining. It's mentally draining to try to recreate those moments in the game. And so if it's the same coaches that are having disconnects nonstop, at some point something has to get addressed. We've seen more. I feel like we've seen more disconnects this season than ever. But maybe it's because
Might be a crossplay thing or something like that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why, but I've seen more disconnects this season just watching games in general. But yeah, so obviously, I mean, the consensus here between us and on the panel is that we really don't have a better solution than how it's handled right now. So
The only solution is pull the plug.
yeah. And obviously it's
Close app.
Yeah, right.
Right.
So here's the thing too is game situation. We'll go on to the next topic here in the NDL. This is another one that a coach brought up. It's just fourth quarter. Okay, let's say we'll go to I'll go to Weasel. You first. Okay, you're up by. Actually, I'm gonna go to somebody else here that's been in the league a lot longer. Okay, I'm gonna go to Iraka. Been in the league a lot longer. And then I'm gonna get Weasel's opinion right after his because we're gonna have two different. Someone that just joined the league and someone's been in the league a while. So, Iraka, you're in the fourth quarter, a Boise State game, and you're playing Beer Cop over there at Colorado State, and you're leading by 32 points. You're in field goal range, and it's fourth down. Do you feel disrespected? Would you feel disrespected? Well, let's flip it. Okay, sorry.
I'm down.
You're playing
32.
Ank. You're playing Ank in Air Force right now. You're down by 32, and Ank is in field goal range, an easy field goal, and instead of kicking that field goal, he decides to punt the ball. Do you feel disrespected? Do you rather have him kick the field goal? How do you play that out?
So I don't find it disrespectful. I just find it unsim. Because if it's an easy field goal, if we're talking like chip shot, 30-yard field goal, just kick the damn field goal. That's fine. I'm not going to dock you on your report personally. Now, if you decide to punt where it's like it could go either way and you don't want to risk a momentum shift, God forbid, even though you're up 28, 32 points or whatever, I get punting there. But if you're in the red zone and you're punting it, that kind of feels a little silly. I don't see it. I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't consider it disrespectful, but I'm like, just take the field goal. Not a big deal.
Now, what about you,
Personally.
Weasel?
So what's the scenario?
You're
It's late in the game,
you're getting your
and
ass
the
kicked by
guy you're
32
you're getting
points,
your
and the
ass
guy.
kicked. I thought it was a close game.
No, the guy.
No.
The guy's kicking your ass by 32 points, right? We have a 35-point league rule.
Yeah, I would be pissed off.
Like, do you want him to kick the field goal or do you want him to punt to you?
Kick the field goal, but the rule is you can't win by 35, right?
More than
More than
35.
30.
Yep.
Just kick the field goal because
Right.
see, I was up big recently, and the guy which game was it? Just the last game I played, and a really friendly guy. We were friendly before and after the game, but the score got up there, and so I don't want to be in a position if I'm up big to still be driving the ball at will, and then oh wait, I can't score him on the 10. I'm just gonna punt through the upright. Like I kind of started, sandbagging myself on offense so that I wouldn't, wouldn't look goofy. I mean, that's how I handled it. So, if that happened to me, I don't know. I'd be like, well, it's like, what are you gonna do? Punt on first down? I think the rules even say I don't care if you have to punt on first down. Then it's like we're not playing football anymore, and it's kind of like I'd rather just lose by 60 personally, but other people don't. So I don't know. I think the people should be able to sandbag themselves. Like maybe there was a turnover and then you got the ball back on in the red zone. What are you gonna do? Run the ball 3 times, kick the field goal.
Whenever I watch these blowout games, you see two completely different game styles from the team that's getting whooped. You see a team that's trying to end the game, right? Running the ball, eating up the clock, trying to get out of that game. And then you have the opposite side that's out there slinging the rock and running hurry up down 35, and you just see turnover after turnover after turnover. And on the offensive side, when you're up 35 and you get the ball in the freaking 25 because they keep turning it over and you're punting it out of the back of the end zone, like you're eventually what happens every once in a while these sims, you get that weird ass fumble out of bounds, you get the punt that bounces off a guy's back, and the next thing you know, it's a 42-point game or a 37-point game, and so
and then you're in violation, and then everyone's gonna come with their pitchforks.
Yep.
Oh well, there should be a white flagging thing, like chew the clock. But it's hard to do that when you're losing and you still want to kind of have the
I'm with you,
just
though.
one good drive before the game's over, whatever. But you're trying to run out the clock and you're up, and dudes are they'll stack the box and run commit on you, and it's like this is bullshit. Excuse my French.
I'm with you though. I'd rather get beat by 70 and guys just put in subs, put in backup players and just continue to play the game. I wish there was a mass subs option because I know you can go and do the sub with the up arrows, but it's just a giant pain in the ass. I wish you could just hit start, go to mass subs like you can in Dynasty. Andy and Freak, do you have any different take on that?
I agree with Weasel. Like I'd rather just kill me. Like it for me, it's so much more like it's like I don't know how to say it, like when you're on the 3-yard line, you're punting out of the back of the end zone. That shouldn't say hurts my feelings, but that kills my self-esteem so much more than you just going forward for like a 2-yard halfback dive kind of deal. The one thing that always killed me with like the NDL is whenever you get up theoretically like 28-ish points. Obviously, you call off the dogs, and pretty much everybody does. But the thing is, only one team is allowed to try to play the game at that point. You basically can't try to do anything. You just have to try to like elongate the game without get the game everywhere without doing anything. You can't. If I run the ball 3 times, burn whatever a minute off the clock because I went 3 and out, then you come back down the field and score, and then I'm like, okay, well, it's 27 now. Then do it again. Like, I don't know. I just always thought that like you should be able to at least try. If I run the ball up the middle 30 times and then I get down to the 3-yard line, I feel like I should be allowed to score, kind of thing. Like I think like Weasel said, people just come out against you and run commit, so you can't do anything anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I agree with what everyone just said. The fact that I'm the king of losses with a good school, yes, king of losses, that is. Um, I've been in this situation a decent amount of times, and there has been moments where I've seen someone up 28, getting in the area, getting in the red zone by the second half or by the second quarter, and punch the ball. I'm like, yo, what the hell's going on here? Like, just score the touchdown. Don't save your touchdown for later. Just get to 35 now, or kick the field goal. Don't be that guy. Like, I don't dock anyone for coach reports. You know, I know how important those points are. However, I will give advice at times, but it's like, come on now. Don't go crazy. Just kick the field goal. Don't piss anyone off.
So I'm going to jump right into a sub question that was kind of brought up as well by some users in the NDL is lately in the NDL chat we've seen an uptick in post game behavior, whether it's good or bad, people complaining about the game, whatever it is. But I'm going to ask you, Iraka. Actually, I'm going to go to Andy here. Andy, what do you think about the importance of post game behavior and how it affects your opponent? Someone that maybe you just beat or that just beat you, and you're or them are out here complaining about how EA lost the game for you. The other player did this and that instead of really focusing on maybe some of the mistakes that you made during the game before blaming something else.
Yeah, I'm not one to blame the game. I might say like, oh, like a drop pass killed me or something like that, or like that red throw killed me. But like the thing is the same way when I play baseball. It's the same way. The field's shitty, but we're both playing on the same field. We're both playing the same game. It's not like one person playing college football 26 and one person playing NCAA 12. Like we're both playing the same game. We both have the same things happen. Like you never remember your opponent's wildly missed wide open throw, but you remember yours, like kind of thing. My thing is just take your L, I guess, like and move on. I try not to say anything else other than like good game after a loss is like someone might be mad, someone might be upset or whatever, but whenever you talk too much, sometimes say something you don't mean to say.
Facts.
Preach.
What about you, Weasel? What are your thoughts about post game behavior?
Well, look, the chat is the juice. This is how I look at the chat and trolling and just men, how we get along in the chat. All right, like everyone likes a good car crash. This is what it is. That's why the chat got fired up with the disconnect in the Missouri State game. That's why someone that's a perennial type of contender guy that's good, and this is usually the kind of thing that comes out of players who are good. EA screwed me. It's like, yo, man, you're not gonna win every game. And then what that does is, people gonna get their popcorn. You opening yourself up to get trolled a little bit, and for me, that's fun. I like it. You want to come in the chat and start with your excuses. You're gonna take some people. You deserve to get shot at a little bit. That's how I look at it. And the chat always kind of straightens people out. That's how I look at a chat and what the chat is for. It adds juice to the league. I was kind of like, man, what's this chat gonna be like? And I have like my, like there's a real life person here, obviously, and then there's like a chat persona, and I know I get the way I get. This is how I've been forever. This is my personality is what it is. But the chat's the juice, man. The chat that's what makes the league better and more drama. That's why people like soap operas. That's why we watch, people like WWE and stuff like that. This is what it is. The chat got to have some juice in it. So if you want to come in the chat and show your ass, oh, EA screwed me. My guy dropped the ball. He's got 99 catching. Ha ha ha. Too bad for you. Call a better play next time. I don't know. What are you expecting to come. What do you expect the whole chat to say to you when you're coming in there? EA screwed me. That's what I want to know.
It is really interesting when it's usually the same group of people, and you hit it kind of on the button there, Weasels. That we're all playing the same, or someone did. I don't remember who said it. We're all playing the
That was
same
Andy.
video game. Yeah, we're all playing the same video game, and at some point, every single one of us is going to experience something similar. Whether it's just a really bad animation, bad passes, tips that ends up interception. Sometimes they don't. I mean, it's all the same, but like I would explain to my kids is when it comes to a real life football game, you're going to have teams that complain about the officiating the whole time, and then when you really go back and look at the tape, there's hundreds of plays during the game or moments during the games where they made a mistake that could have potentially changed the outcome of that play or game. To where you want to just point fingers at the easiest solution, which is the video game or the officiating, or the other player instead of yourself. And so I think it all just comes full circle. But it is an interesting topic because I do notice that a lot of times, I remember back in the day when we used AOL Instant Messenger in the NDL. Okay, that was our
That's
primary
back in the day.
primary form
Dial-up,
of
baby.
communication was AOL Instant Messenger and message boards. Okay, so we had message boards. So the live chat was non-existent. So Weasel, you got to kind of think of it like this: is that the peanut gallery, right? Like us in the live chat, the peanut gallery that can chime in and irritate people and troll and speak our thoughts. In
That's
the
me.
message board, it didn't happen as much because no one was going to post a whole message with just one word, right? Usually the message board is like a paragraph, and then normally you'd be in private AOL instant chats with a group of NDLers that you were friends with, and so you didn't get the back and forth screaming. There was still people that bitched at each other all the time in the NDL on the message boards, and they were the same people that always hated each other. So none of that has changed. It's just more of a live feed now. We get the live Twitter, right? Like you get a live tweet of someone's thoughts nonstop
2025 now.
in the live chat. But back in the day in the AOL world, it was required to tell your opponent GG after the game, regardless of the score, the situation, how bad you hated them. Is that in almost any league that I was a part of, including the NDL, is if you didn't say good game, someone would take a snippet of that and then they would send it into a commissioner that you weren't,
Sportsman, like you didn't,
you
you didn't
just
shake
weren't a
my
good
hand at midfield.
Yeah.
You come
And
out,
so
you lose the game.
it is
good
interesting
game, man.
how that has kind
Other
of
guy
gone wayward. Now, I will say that almost every single one of the opponents on my schedule, everyone is we're always private messaging each other GG no matter how it ended up, but also I'm not playing people that I don't know. Most of these people that I get to play because I have that schedule I can make are people that have been in the league for a long time or people I just know personally. And so I would like to see more of that. I like when people post in the chat good game. Like I just enjoy it. I've always been a big fan of yeah like
Public, it's better.
Yep. Yeah, and it shows, just
Especially
the
after you
sportsmanship.
catch a L.
100%. That when someone is willing to go out there and speak highly of the person they played against when they lost, that shows the character of the person, right? And so I think we kind of beat on this one is that
It's crazy though. Like it's like the guy says good game, and the response is EA screwed me. He's like, what?
Right? Yeah, right.
Hey,
okay, all right, no problem.
And they said, Weasel wasn't made for PTD. That's a lie.
Hey, I think but you see, because that's the EA screw. It's really like that's a side mouth insult. That's like a what did you say? You know what I'm saying? Like that's what that is.
Oh no, I agree. Because honestly, it's for example, if you lose, you lose. You take the L. I mean, you could complain to your best friend, but you know what? Say good game. If you need to vent, you can vent. But still show your opponent the respect that they deserve. Don't EA is gonna EA. Who cares? It's a video game. It's all comes down to us.
Sorry to cut you off. If I lose Saturday night to Jose, I'm gonna go in the chat and I'm gonna say EA screwed me. And then I'll go DM him. Ha ha ha. Good game. Just playing.
If you beat Jose, you got to tell him that EA screwed you.
Yeah, screw
yeah,
you.
I screwed you, man. Damn.
So
It's gonna be hard.
Andy, I'm gonna ask you this. Thoughts on, since you're kind of like an in-between guy, you did play the last video game, and then obviously started out in this video game. What are your thoughts on some of the new blood, some of the heat that they take, but also some of the heat that they dish out, and just some of the guys in their first season and what expectations people have of them?
I mean, I think we had what was it, maybe season 31 or 32. There was a lot of like vets versus rookies. I feel like it's gotten better now. Like I don't know, like in terms of people getting along with it. Like I mean, look, Weasel's on the show. We have Jeremy's was on game day last week. Like the new guys, I feel like are acclimating pretty well. I don't know if there's too much, not shouldn't say hatred, but there's certain guys who've been around the NDL for a while that everybody likes or doesn't like, or they have their role, and then if it was their first year, people might be feel different about them, but they've been around for whatever 20 seasons, so everyone likes it. But like Weasel, like I didn't know how this was going to go, to be completely honest with you, and you get on this, and then there you go. Like it seems like a thing.
Yeah, look, sometimes I'm bored. I don't know. Try to stir up some juice. Make some Kool-Aid in the chat.
I mean, Weasel, your chat persona kind of gave me like even like a young Gen Z. So when I found out you were like older,
70?
I was like,
I'm 46.
I was like, oh shit, he's older than me. I was like, that's awesome. I was like, that's a chat persona for you. But
Well, I don't know. Like trolling is fun.
Yeah, we have a few other trolls in here too, so we're all good. I mean, it's a great
that we
community.
do.
So one of my favorite, I'm sorry to cut you guys off. One of my favorite parts about doing all these media shows, okay, from back in season 29 when we really kicked off the media stuff. My favorite part about doing the media shows is having guests on the show that we've never talked to really, or that are new and come on the show, because you see a completely different side of them that's in the chat, right? It's just like, I mean, it's the same way in real life, right? The keyboard warriors or people on social media that type stuff. When you ever meet people like that in person, they're just completely different because, like you talked about, it's just like when you're in that live chat, you just want to troll, and sometimes you want to irritate people, and you don't know anyone, right? And so once you get to know them and stuff, you kind of learn their personality and the type of person they are. And that's what the new guys don't have the advantage of, right? When you mention the new guys versus the vets, I always think of I'm a big MTV challenge guy, right? I watched the Real World way back in the day, in the 2000s, early 2000s, and it was that same dynamic. You get the rookies that come into the show on the challenge, and you have the vets who have relationships outside of the show, who have been friends for 10, 15 years. They obviously have their circle, they have their inner jokes and stuff. And then when you have these new guys that come in, you're going to get the ones that don't ever say anything, that don't ever involve themselves with anything. They sit in the corner and don't do anything. And then you have the ones that have the personality to jump right in the middle and start pointing fingers and laugh and joke. And then you have the ones that want to poke everyone, right? You want to poke everyone and see what buttons you can and can't push. And so it's a big dynamic. I've said it 1,000 times. It's like having 134 brothers. We're all going to love each other, but we're all going to hate each other too. You're going to have ones you don't get along with, ones you fight with, ones that have the same personality as you, ones that are on a different completely view spectrum as you. Left or right, it just doesn't matter. At the end of the day, at least we all enjoy college football. And I mean, that's what really brings the league together. So
man, I back my
Well
shit
said.
up. I talk, but I'm bringing it. Real life too. I'm just saying.
What are some of the most surprise? We're going to jump all the way into college football here into the NDL. We're just getting it ready to enter Block 4 tomorrow. What are some of the most surprising results in Block 3, Iraka?
So the one that stuck out to me was another new guy, Zach Tasty, taking out one of our veterans who was ranked Wild with Texas Tech. That was the first one that popped out to me. And it seems like he handily took him down, 28 points in the second half to Wilds is only 7. Just kind of seemed, I didn't get to watch the game, but from the looks of it, he kind of just took things over. So that was the big one that stuck out to me for this block. I don't see any other ones offhand. I was looking, but that's my number one big one for me.
Does anyone else have any other ones?
The Missouri upset, the Missouri State game.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too.
It just stinks, the whole all the disconnect and all that. But man, that's like a big overall difference. However, I think that's like a whole interesting topic too. Is kind of try to always think about like where is that gray line between having a high power team and and a really good user. Like, what is that gap? Where exactly is that gap at? And I think that's also one of the interesting things about like you guys' coach system and like this. You could get fired and you could get new gigs or whatever. That thing, I feel like it seems like an organic way of kind of getting that to where it kind of should be. Like in real life, the big schools are going to want a competent, big time coach to coach a team, trying to win a national championship. And, you get fired a few times, just like in real life, in any kind of job, you're going to get what you're going to get after because you still got to make a living or whatever. So I think it's kind of a cool setup. However, I've been listening to some of your guys' podcasts or whatever, to kind of like get familiar with the league board and, nerd out with you guys or whatever. But you guys changed the rule there's a +5 rule now, because that was a thing in the back of my mind about like, oh great, I'm going to join this league. They've been long standing. How the hell am I ever going to get a power school? You know what I mean? Like, it's clicked up. It's like, but ain't no way I'm going to get a good school ever. So, but whatever, I'll give it a roll the dice anyway. So I was just wondering.
Every year, every single season I've ever been in the NDL, which has been a long time, every single draft, there's a top 5 team in the draft. Every single year, there's at least one. Every year, there's numerous top 15 teams, like rating wise, in the NDL. I think with the +5 rule, you're even going to see more, because as you can tell, normally what happens, Weasels, after 1 or 2 seasons of the video game being out, every single good coach that loves competition, they all follow each other into the same conference. You see, you look at the SEC right now. A lot of those guys all went there. A couple guys left the SEC this year because they lost their team. So their plan, if you talk to them, is to get back into the SEC. They just couldn't get a team. And so I think it'll be really exciting. You brought up the Missouri State. My biggest question for you is, and I love that you hit the topic, is that I said it in the chat and people got mad, is that sure, right now it looks like a good win, right? What happens when Missouri only wins 1 or 2 more games the rest of the year and finishes with 4 wins? That win is not going to be that impressive.
The committee's going to be like,
that's not that. Hey, and the same thing happened a couple years ago with Alabama. Best team in the video game, one of the top 3 teams in the video game. Keg takes over, and what did he win? 2 games?
Trash.
Yeah, it was pretty
And
ugly.
so none of those wins are that big, right? I know the teams are rated really well, okay? But sometimes there's just not very good coaches that just don't play the video game enough. And so those games aren't going to be as competitive as playing teams such as Middle Tennessee State, Akron this year, Tulsa, the teams that have fairly good coaches that know how to play the game, make adjustments, do pre-snap stuff, that have played Madden for 130 years. That transitions to NCAA when someone hasn't picked up the game for 15 years and only plays their NDL games. They're going to be at a big disadvantage when they lose. It's not that big of a shocker for me, right? Like, Jose is a really good coach. It doesn't like him playing Missouri. I don't care if it's 30-point difference in overall. He's going to win that game. If that wasn't a disconnect, he wins by 35. and so it wouldn't. They could play that game 100 times, and he's probably going to win all 100 times. Um,
Hmm.
and so like it just, I mean, that's the biggest question
Well,
is,
maybe not. Maybe see, this is why like the disconnect things are funny because like it kind of gives you a pause. And this is where like that taboo part of like, oh, he did that on purpose. Like back in the day, cats used to like let guys drive out there and watch their whole script in my league. They'd watch a whole scripted first drive. Oh, I disconnected. You can have the 7, whatever, and let's just run it back though. You just score right away, and it's like it was like a long drive or something, and they're kind of scheming. But they still gave them their points, so you can't really say nothing. It's like there are at least maybe it's a New York City thing, and in the nature of my league, there's some nefarious individuals I roll with in the game that we've tried to curate all into one place, but like maybe he comes out and runs the ball, and because he has a great offensive line more, and then he can pancake the whole team, and you get the advantage like that. You can make an adjustment if you get a 5 or 10 minute break. You know what I mean? So you should be able to still beat that team, even if you're not a great coach.
yeah, but once you're around the NDL long enough, you'll realize that there's a reason why certain coaches go to certain places, conferences, take certain teams. And I mean that's why you see the fluctuation of coaches and the coaching contracts and stuff is you're going to see good teams not win any games, and those games just end up not being that big of a deal at the end of the year. But you never know, right? Missouri wins 6 or 7 games, but somehow upset a team in the SEC that's good. Then that win obviously gains some value. But I think it's going to work itself out. It usually always does. Let's move on to the next topic here. Is that who's going to be the biggest risers and fallers in the upcoming top 25 that's released tomorrow? Go ahead, Freak.
I didn't finish making my list, so I'm gonna pass.
I haven't fully finished my list as either. However, I'm definitely going to say Missouri State and Middle Tennessee State should be getting up towards that top 25 range. Biggest fallers,
Florida.
Florida definitely. Big Mike, and love you, but
Mhm.
unfortunately, the cat's out the cage, man.
Florida caught a few L's. I got to go do some more research.
I mean, they
Yeah,
lost 2 in this block, and the third loss was in the middle of voting last block. So like it's almost like 2.5 losses this block.
right. Sitting 2 and 3 in the top 10. That's not a good look. So Florida definitely probably the biggest faller. I'd say Texas Tech now they're taking their second loss and they're already close to 20. They're 19. They'll probably be falling out. Any other big? I think those are probably the most noteworthy ones. Everybody else that's in the top 25 is pretty comfortable. Just anybody with multiple losses. Yeah. Oh, Illinois, they took their second loss and they're 20. That could hurt them. Yeah,
Question
those
is,
are probably.
how far is
my biggest rise was NC State. And that's only because of where I had teams ranked that he's beaten, and so I had to give him some credit because that's where I felt those teams were.
Mhm.
And then the biggest fall, man, I'm trying to remember in my rankings who it was.
I did have. I was looking. I did like half of the list. I kind of rounded out the top 10, and I did have NC State. I think coming like 7. So
Yeah, they were a top 10 team for me.
Yeah,
I haven't done my
But
polls yet.
I wanted
Sorry,
to kind of go and look at what the team stats were and stuff like offense, because I think that's like a pretty decent indicator too, is to what type of coach you're kind of dealing with.
Mhm.
So they're like,
By the way,
Notre
Dame should be rising again too, right?
Yeah,
they got a quality
win
win
against Tennessee.
Yeah, they were in the late teens for me, I think.
Okay.
Quality win versus Tennessee, and then their only loss is Miami, who is, I mean, they're 2-1, so we need bigger sample size from Miami. But
Yeah, they haven't played anybody this block. Yeah, I don't see any recent games from them, but yeah.
But that was a big win for him, and then I can't remember who he lost to. But FSU,
Miami
wasn't it
lost
Sammy?
Miami lost to Nebraska.
Nebraska. There you go. Okay.
Yeah, Nebraska. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember. Baylor may have been the farthest fall for me, but they're still in the top 25. But I think I had them ranked in the top 10, and with that loss to Kansas State, I dropped them quite a bit ways down. But
They're going to 26 for me.
yeah,
26.
Love you, Pat.
what about
Oh, man.
UConn? When's UConn pop up into the rankings? Someone's going to
I
eventually.
was
vote them
noticing that
4-0.
UConn's. Yeah, I kind of like
Dave's
that.
Dave had that
I
undefeated.
thought-
I think he had an undefeated season his first season, like season 29,
Season
maybe
29.
or season 30. He was undefeated. One of those 2 seasons.
Hmm.
Wait, there's
And
a
then
guy that's there's someone that's camping on UConn.
well, he's
Oh
a
yeah, he's a
UConn.
UConn
He's a
alum,
UConn
isn't he?
alum and everything, and so he doesn't
Yeah.
really he just plays his games. He doesn't really do much else.
Wow.
Yeah, he's rattled off 3 wins since last poll. He was going to get some attention from me. That's a good one, and he's way down at 66, so he should definitely rise. Get him close enough so people start noticing him.
Florida
You
was
guys look
my
at
biggest
some
fall.
Massey rating. You guys look at that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes.
I don't tend to look at it early in the season. Like probably after this block, I'll probably start looking at it, but I don't tend to look at it too early. It's kind of wonky until there's a larger sample size. Personally,
Florida
So more-
was the
yeah.
furthest drop for me. I forgot about Florida. They had like 3 losses since my last poll.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're out of here.
I think I voted them top 10, and they immediately lost, and I was like, well, that's what I get
Yeah.
for voting early.
And I mean all his losses though are against ranked teams, like so.
Right? They're like,
It-
yeah, he's
but-
getting beat by like
by the
teams.
top 10 teams too, but I mean it doesn't matter. A loss is a loss. At some point you got to win your games.
Facts.
Hey,
Actually, didn't that one Florida one happen right before PTD last week?
I think
It was
so.
like-
Yep.
It was.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
I was driving home from work when it finished up, and I leave work
Yep.
at noon on Fridays. So, yeah, it was like in the half an hour before it.
I'm just going to ask you guys a quick question. What's your favorite college matchup, real life college matchup, and NDL Block 4 matchup this coming weekend?
I mean, I'll say
for
the NDL only because of the ramifications on one side. It's probably Ohio State, Illinois, because MJ Kemp's been in the playoffs every time, right? If he loses, I feel like he's done. Even if his losses were like to arguably the 3 best teams in the league. You know,
Ohio State got one of those top 5 offenses right now. I think they're 1 of 5 teams with over 500 yards.
yeah,
Damn.
DK is definitely good over there. But that's probably my one that stood out to me just because it could be. I mean, similar to me, although I already had my 3rd loss. Like you can't lose again if you have any hope whatsoever. Just because 3 losses.
You don't
is tough.
say. You don't say IROC. I think I'm well aware of that one.
I wouldn't.
No, real life. I'd say I'm looking forward to that LSU Clemson game. The Texas Ohio State should be a great game. In regards to NDL, I am going with Clemson at Boston College. You know, Boston
That's a good one.
College had a great game against Bama, and unfortunately, I guess you call that one time management gate. I think Roke has learned his lesson, and he's ready. He's ready to compete in the ACC. He's always been very good with scheduling out of conference. At the same time, it prepares him for in conference, and that's a hell of a matchup. Going into Block 4, getting ready for the the start of your season or the middle of your season.
I'm going to go with 2 games. One for our rising new folks, calling out our guest Weasel, going against Jose from Missouri State. Obviously, that's a big one. And then a battle of the vets, NC State and Notre Dame are probably 2 that I'm looking forward to in the NDL. Real life, I was trying to get excited for the Boise game, but they got their butts kicked by UCF. So I'm like, all right, I'll look
Go
forward to
Bulls.
my rating dropping fantastically here midseason if that keeps up. Other than that, I don't think I'm actually looking forward to any other ones necessarily.
Yeah, me, I'm looking forward to my game. Shoot, so Jose got the juice now, man.
Right.
I think so. That should be a good game. Fun. I'm looking forward to that. And Real life, yeah. This Texas Ohio State game, man. That's a coin flip game. I think there's a lot. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like there's so many good Week 1 college football games this year. I'm definitely more excited for college football than the NFL. So Clemson, I think, is also a sleeper team that I feel like Dabo might have that team back. So that's a big, big, big Week 1 game too. So should
Oh, I
be a fun
forgot
weekend.
about. Yeah, I forgot about Christians versus convicts for the new
Yeah, Doc.
generation here. Notre Dame versus Miami. I'll probably watch that game, honestly.
There's a
For me,
lot.
I got it.
go ahead.
I was gonna say I think I just posted a list of 13 in our chat. I think we have a lot of good games this week that are in a lot of different conferences. Um, you know, I don't know. I'm just trying to say there's going to be a lot of great NDL content for Labor Day weekend.
Definitely.
I could go over the games, but that's up to y'all.
Yeah, one of the so that you can after this, because then some of them have already been hit on, so you can skip them. But we for me, I mean, obviously Washington State's opening up with their new coach Rogers on Saturday night against Idaho, and so I'm excited to see how everything shakes out with that and how much different we are. We have a lot of transfers. We're really young. But my favorite college football moment that I'm excited about this weekend, obviously I've talked about it on game day, is actually watching ESPN game day tomorrow morning. It's Lee Corso's last game. It's in Columbus where he made his initial first headgear pick. And so it'll be kind of emotional. I'm guessing he'll probably only come on the show. I would assume he'd only come on the show at the end, but who knows what they got planned. I know they have a couple different things in dedications and stuff to him. So I'm excited. And the game is big, right? Even number 1 versus number 2, that very rarely ever happens in college football,
Right.
where they play each other throughout the whole season. And that's how we're kicking off college football. Obviously, I've become a pretty big LSU fan living in Louisiana here, and so I'm excited about that matchup. I have several friends that are actually going out to Clemson to watch the game, so um, I'm pretty excited about those games. In the NDL, obviously, the game I'm most excited about is my family matchup with my nephew Jordan, and Sergeant Lingus over there at Wake Forest. We always have really exciting games. They're always close. I mean, the team he has right now is the best team he's ever had. Whenever we've played, he's just got so many weapons on the offensive side of the ball, and so I mean, when we've played, we've scored in the 80 points each, and so when we've scrimmaged and stuff, so there probably won't be much defense in that game. So I'm pretty excited about that. But uh, besides that game, I'm going to just say one more in the NDL is probably the Texas Oklahoma game. And the reason being is I watched the game last year where Jiggy absolutely struggled on the offensive side of the ball, through 7 interceptions with Archie. And so I know that there's no way Jiggy doesn't have that thing circled on his calendar for the big Red River Showdown. And I just can't imagine that that's not a game he's going to come out and really try to put his leg in the ground there and go running. And so it'll be really interesting. Oklahoma's only played one game. They're way better on offense this year, rating wise, than last year. And so I'm pretty excited about that game.
I got to say, did you see the note next to your game?
Yeah, that family matters.
There you go. I had that circle.
I know he was in here listening, and he's been scrimmaging a ton lately, and I know that that's what he's scrimmaging for. So I should have played him before we went on our Bahama trip, because then if he had beat me, I'd have just not let him come. Just leave his ass
No,
at
you
home,
can't go on the jet ski.
Your ticket has been rejected.
Oh yeah,
No, I ain't giving you any liquor. Get out of here.
yeah.
Not so there as I said, I had a list of like 13 games. You got SMU Clemson, both are 3-1. That should be a very big game in the ACC. You got USC Notre Dame this week. UTEP at Sam Houston State, that should be a good one. They're both on at the top, along with Missouri State and Middle Tennessee State in the Sun Belt, or Conference USA. You got Tennessee Bama, that should be a great matchup. Texas A&M at Arkansas, as well as they host Florida. We were just bashing 6 feet last week in regards to being on the hot seat. He lost his first game against Penn State. Now he's turning it around. You know, who knows where he's going to end up when the season's all said and done. You got LSU Vanderbilt this week, as well as Tulsa East Carolina, and for our media boy Big Red, he got the modern day hate Georgia State at Georgia Southern. 4-1 Georgia State goes to 0-4 Georgia Southern. You know he does not want to lose that game.
Hey, Weasel, are you and
No.
are you and
I'm in the
Jose?
grocery store.
Are
Oh,
you and Jose playing
sorry.
each other on Saturday after college game
Saturday,
day?
I told him I could probably play late Saturday night because I got me and all my homeboys I grew up with, we have our live auction fantasy draft on Saturday.
Because we're trying to
Nice.
get.
So
Because if you guys play that game on Saturday night, we're trying to get Jiggy and OU to play that game on Saturday night too. And I know there's a couple other guys I think that are planning on playing Saturday night for big games, and so that could be.
I think I want to try to do that Saturday night because it's up here in Jersey. It's kids go back to school next week, and so this is like the long weekend, the last little family stuff to do. So I don't know what my wife wants to do with the kids on Sunday. I'm probably gonna do a beach trip down to Point Pleasant, Jenkins Boulevard. For all you Jersey heads, that's where I like to go with my kids.
Bar baby.
And so that's
Not
I think I'm
Martell's?
gonna do that Sunday. And so then I have no idea when the hell I'll be back. Go out to dinner after the beach or whatever. So I usually only play after the wife and kids are in bed too. So I told them Saturday night, late, maybe like after 10 or something like that.
So
He
Weasel,
said, "Cool, just hit him up."
So Weasel, when you're at Point Pleasant, you don't try to sneak over to Tiki Bar to get some drinks while you're on the beach?
There's plenty I can.
Hey, you know what it is.
Brother. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, trust me, I know exactly what you're saying. We both in Jersey, so I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. No,
For whatever
I like
reason,
that beach. It's clean,
little
private beach is good.
little plug in here for everybody to listen. Hey, when you tentatively schedule a time to play somebody, throw it up on the website. There's a way to schedule your game. If you don't know, ask in the live chat. So one of us will walk you through. It's super easy. You schedule the time, and then that way we have a couple media members that are wanting to write articles for some of these game of the weeks that we're putting out.
Okay.
But they want to know times where people are playing so they know when they can write the articles and when they can get those out. But and that's not just for you, Weasel, but if you guys end up hammering out a time, let us know.
I definitely haven't done that yet.
Yep. Tomorrow, you guys don't forget to check out NDL College Game Days making its first evening show. It'll be tomorrow night. We are going live. I think we said 5:30. I think we said 5:30 Eastern. Maybe it's 6:30 Eastern. I'll have to get some verification. It's my own show, and I forgot already. I'll have to look. I actually have a flyer here. Let me.
I remember
take
seeing 6:30, but I don't know if you guys.
let me take a peek at it here. I have a flyer that I made, and at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, our co-games of the week, Weasel and Middle Tennessee State taking on Missouri State, as well as we have Tennessee and Alabama. And if you don't know their history, Jiggy and Smitty, or not Jiggy, but Jiggy and Smitty don't like each other, but Vegas and Smitty absolutely dislike each other in the NDL, and they face off this week. Tennessee did everything in their power to not play them last year, and Alabama came a calling this year with Smitty. And so it's a very exciting matchup. There's a lot at stake in the game.
The history?
Yeah,
Hey,
so
do I hear Flexpo Nation?
Yeah, they just do not like each other. They don't enjoy each other. I think I'm almost certain that they've had each other blocked on Discord for 3 seasons. So they can't even send each other messages, and it's some hatred.
See, that block feature on Discord is corny because you can still just click on the message and look
and
at
still
it.
see them. Oh
you
yeah,
just
100%.
can't send
Yep.
DMs, so that shit is fraudulent in my book anyway.
But super exciting. So obviously, I have some new blood that are going at it, and then we have some medium blood. Right, they're not old blood. They're newer members in the NDL, but they're medium blood going at it, and so it's super exciting weekend and blocking the NDL. They will not play on Saturday night. Vegas has got some fantasy football drafts, and and he's not playing. So I hope that game doesn't end up being like a 9 a.m. game during the weekday when no one's watching. But super excited. I don't have
I'll watch
anything
that and
else.
have coffee.
Yeah, I don't have anything else. Anyone else have anything?
Hey, Weasel,
That's
thank you
weird.
for joining the show, man. You did great.
Thanks for having me. Anytime. Let me know.
Well, there you have it, guys. This is episode of
Everybody have a
PTD.
good Labor Day.
Yeah, Friday weekend. Everybody enjoy your 3-day weekend. Stay safe.
Here.